KT McFarland is with me now. KT, 1 year after the takeover by the Taliban, 1 year on, what are your thoughts on the withdrawal now?
Well, it was a shambolic withdrawal, and it was because of the way Biden did the withdrawal. And it'll mark the point at which the United States' power in the world began to inexorably diminish. When we leave Americans behind and then our president says, oh, this is a great victory, everything was wonderful, everything was done really well, the American people look and they scratch their heads and say, well, we don't believe you. What are these pictures showing us? But the rest of the world looks at that and says, right, America is in decline. It's got a president who doesn't know what he's doing. And the withdrawal is the perfect example of that.
Do you think that Putin would have invaded Ukraine and Xi Jinping would have encircled and threatened Taiwan in the way they did had it not been for that withdrawal?
Not only that withdrawal, but there were other factors as well. But that withdrawal really made the United States look incompetent and impotent. The other thing that I think encouraged Putin to do it was when the price of oil went up. Biden's war on American fossil fuels drove the prices sky high. What did that do? It gave Russia the resources and the piggy bank to go to war. What did that do to China? It just showed China, well, maybe this is our moment of opportunity. Maybe this is our window when we should start being more aggressive on the world stage, particularly vis-a-vis Taiwan, but also with regard to all of its international and global actions.
KT, it was reported this morning that President Biden and Xi Jinping are going to meet in November of this year. What could we get out of that meeting? America, what could it get out of the meeting? Bearing in mind, you're laughing, but it's election time.
Yeah, I guess Biden thinks he's going to get an election bump. Here's the thing about the timing of that. Now, the timing is in November. What's going to happen in October? So the Chinese are going for their party Congress. That happens every 5 years, and then they'll elect the new president. Well, the new president will be the same as the old president, Xi Jinping. He will have an unprecedented third term, which effectively makes him emperor for life. Now, he's going to be doing that amidst all the potential discipline problems he has in his own economy and his own domestic problems. But then who's going to come lapdog behind and say, hey, well done, Xi Jinping, you're now emperor for life? Joe Biden's going to come. Now, Biden may be doing it for American political purposes. He may be doing it to, I don't know, shore up somebody's legacy. But it will be perceived in China and throughout Asia as, here's the Chinese president, now emperor for life, and who's the first guy who's going to come kowtowing, bowing to China? The American president. The symbolism of that, of the American president going hand in hand to China, even though it's going to be spun differently in the United States. You can't spin it around Asia, you can't spin it around the world. The world will look at that picture and say, right, this is the picture of an America in inexorable and inevitable decline, and here is a China with an emperor for life, which is now going to be the dominant superpower in the world.
Is Biden's foreign policy a success, an outstanding success, anywhere?
Maybe in his own mind.
No.
I don't think anywhere in the world, certainly not in any sense that matters. Look at the United States. Where are we in international organizations? We're not leading international organizations. China is. Where are we on our energy independence? In fact, our energy dominance. We're not energy dominant anymore. We're not energy independent anymore. Where's our economy? Our economy is sputtering around the world. Where's our ability to take Asian nations and pull them into kind of an anti-China, or at least a containment of China organization? That's not happening either. It's sort of step after step after step. And the problem I find, the biggest problem with anything the Biden administration does, he never foresees the consequences of his actions. War on fossil fuels, did they not think that was going to drive the price of oil sky high? Raid on Mar-a-Lago, did they think there was not going to be a reaction on the part of the American people to a raid on a president's house? Come on.
Come on. Doesn't the president say that? Come on, man. I think he says that. KT
Yeah,
McFarland.
come on, man.
Come on, man. KT McFarland, thanks for being here. Always a pleasure. We'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.